Hello, everybody. We're back and we're going to look at the text tool. As you can see, it's the letter T up top. We've gone through most of these so far. And when we click on it, it's the T, as in anything else in a Word document or any other program. The T means text, and it's pretty much universal. So let's go ahead and do it. So once I click on the T, you're going to notice over here on the right-hand side, my appearance has changed. It's pretty cool. As you can see, I have my appearance. I will go with, and I've already had some of these fonts up. It works really well. I'm going to just pick a bold font that we can see real easy. Oh, of course, there's just so many changes. It's kind of nuts. We're going to use We're going to use Chango. What you're going to find out under the word Chango, we're going to see that there's regular and only regular. If it had a family of fonts, say that it had a light, a medium, a semi-bold, a demi-bold, things like that, those would all be underneath here. And those would appear. What they usually do is called open sans. So let's come over here, type O in here, and we'll see open. Let's see. I don't see it right now. Let's see if Oxygen has anything. And notice you'll see Oxygen has it. Regular, light, and bold. There is the more there is, you'll see them displayed, but that's what it means when it comes down to here and it says the weight, okay? It's the family that goes with it. Everything from ultra to being the thickest to light or light italics being the thinnest. And of course, we have our size right here. You're going to also notice that under the decorations, the bold and the italic, the bold is the only thing that is highlighted and that we can use because hence it's actually in here as the weight. Okay, if there was italic, like italic bold, the I in italic would be up highlighted too. Then we have our underline, and we also have our strike through. So let's go ahead and let's pick a different font because I told you I wanted something thick, and I kind of digressed. I apologize for that. We're gonna go with I want something that's more of a sans serif. We'll just go with Goblin one. What the heck? I click once, and you're gonna notice that my text shows it. It always is done as your text here. Okay, I had it set at 72 because of prior work I've done. Usually starts off, I believe, what I remember is at 20 points. And it's very easy. Once highlighted like this, we're going to come here. It's a matter of changing it. And as you see, the font changes once you click on it. But let's look at something that's going to be pretty heavy that we can see. And we're going to go at 60. And it says your text here. Once the text is blue, I can type in whatever I want. So let's go text is crucial. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple other things with it. We can highlight it. Let's click over here. As you see in the layers, it shows up as a text. If you want to, you could double click on the word text, I believe, and we could type in what we texted. So you could recognize what layer you're on. That's up to you, but that's just one thing you can do. So let's move this over here. You're noticing that you see the typical circles here, or the anchors just of the selection. If I do click it, I drag it down, but you're going to notice that some of the font moves. And you're going to see it goes like this. Here is where, and we're going to come down over here to appearance again, where the word vertical it comes in. Vertical, I have it up top. If I go to the middle, notice it's in the middle box or the bottom. Why that's there, some people like that. It's easy. Just in my opinion, I like to keep the box as small as possible because when you start having large text boxes that have nothing in it, it's sometimes hard to select what you want. And it kind of gets confusing. So just in my opinion, I like to keep it condensed down. And guess what? We'll go to that right away. So if we come down two more things, you'll see it says sizing here. And that sizing is under fixed. I have created it. It stays fixed. But if I go to auto, you're going to notice that it actually condenses it down. And if I do move the text box, notice it goes down, it goes back to fixed, but we're looking for auto. One of the last things you're going to see here is you're going to actually see up top, it still has the rotation handle up top. If I click it, I can rotate it. But again, I can just come over here and type in whatever angle I want and get what I need. Going back to the appearance that we have here under the text, we've already talked about the fonts, size of things. Notice to the left, it has the color. It also has the color picker or pick a color from anywhere on the canvas. So if we have a color that we're looking to match that we've figured out we like, just use the eyedropper, the picker, click on the color, and it will change. But again, let's click on the color itself. You're going to find out that everything looks the same that we've gone through shapes and everything else, and using the pen tool. So let's click get a red. It changes right there. Here is the only thing that has changed. When I go to fill color or color fill, there are no gradients. There's nothing else here. There's no patterns. There's no textures. There's nothing. So text itself just uses the fill color. I will address this in my next video, how to change that and how to kind of manipulate the system. But for right now, we're just going to do the basics for text. Now, another thing, we're going to move down here. We have our alignment, left, right, center, and justified. You should know what that is if you've been writing papers for quite a long time on anything from a Word document to a Google Doc to, in the Mac. You know what those are. I'm going to assume that you do, and it's the easiest thing to do: left, right, and center, justified. Now, the next one let's go to is going to be our spacing. So let's move this over a little bit more. I'm going to keep the box large intentionally, and I'm going to bring this up here like this. Now let's look at the word text as crucial. In spacing, it says CHR, char. It means character. I can put spaces in between or more space in between my characters. I can either add or subtract it. So let's go with a, and I'm noticing that if you don't do a whole number, use a decimal, and I'm assuming it's working off of points, but I don't know for sure, but I've done this before. So I'm going to go a minus 0.1 and hit tab, and notice I've condensed them closer. A negative is going to bring them closer. A positive number is going to spread them out. So let's change that to just a 0.1. Notice how it's changed, and it's changed so much that it doesn't stay contained in the box, and it's actually done a second line. Okay, so notice the text. If I create a box that is fixed, that we talked down here, it will stay within the box. Okay, so that's good. So that's what character is. Then we also have word. I'm going to take this back so you can see the difference between the words. Let's go 0. And now it's, instead of just doing all the spaces in between the letters, which they call it character, in the real world or in graphic design, it's called kerning. That's a space in between your letters. We can just do the space in between the words. So let's go minus 0.5. Notice space in between the text hasn't changed, but the spacing in between the words has. You would never do a negative. Unless you're doing something that's a design. I would actually just do more. So let's go 0.5. Let's see how that looks. And notice the spacing has changed dramatically, and it looks really, really good. Now, let's just change this up really quick, and we're going to get to what the line is. So let's go ahead and change that back to 0. And we're going to need to make this a little larger. So we're going to make this 72 points. Notice it stays filled in. Now, the program gives you a specific spacing in between the first line text is and the second line crucial. Well, we can manipulate that too, and that's where the line is. You're manipulating each line with a spacing in between the line, and it confused me for a moment, but once you get used to it, you'll understand it. So say if I do 120, notice there's more spacing. I'm adding more space in between, okay? And then if I do a, say, 70, it brings it closer together. So that's what that is. It's more about the spacing in between the line. And it's kind of like in a Word document if you're doing spaces 1 or 1.25 or 1.5, or you can do it as a 0.75. That's what you're doing. You're taking the space in between each line, you're done, and that's where it is. So that's basically what I'm going to get right now with what's going on with the basics of the text tool. We'll get a little bit more involved with some other things as we do. So we'll come back for my next video and we'll talk about it.